Unfortunately, all these diverse lineages of mammals which became extinct in the Mesozoic, well, they're not quite exciting now, are they? But we do have representatives of the three groups of mammals alive today, so let's hear from them, beginning with the Monotremes of Australia.
To be honest, there really isn't that much to say about the monotremes, at least not at first. We don't have much of a fossil record, and there's only two kinds of monotreme alive today. This video depicts the echidna, one of the only monotremes alive today in Australia, along with the duck-billed platypus. So we've never been that successful. We are a little interesting in that we retain many primitive traits from the early mammals in that, well, we still lay eggs. We have hair and we produce milk for our young, but our young hatch out of eggs. We have a smooth cerebrum. We have bones in our shoulder which remind us of reptiles more than mammals. We're warm-blooded, but not quite to the degree that we find in the live birth mammals. We possess a cloaca, where there's one common opening for the urinary, reproductive, and digestive tracts. In males, the testes don't descend into a scrotum, and so, while we're mammals, we lack many of the traits which are found in later mammals.
Well, thank you, Monotremes. That was, interesting. Well, we now turn to the live birth mammals, or the Therian mammals as they're known. So let's start with an ancestral Therian mammal here, and let's hear your story.
I am an early Therian mammal from the Jurassic period. I am different from the first mammals in that I can give live birth to my young, although they're really only about the same size as they would have been when they hatch from eggs for right now. From the first Therian mammals would evolve two lineages in the Cretaceous period which are alive today, the marsupials and the placentals. The marsupials did appear in North America but quickly became extinct. Their real success was in South America and then afterwards when they spread to Australia. They evolved into hippo-sized herbivores and huge kangaroos and a number of carnivores including coyote and bear-shaped forms and some that look like saber-toothed cats. And so the marsupials were quite diverse as long as South America and Australia stayed separated and isolated from the other continents. However, once other placental mammals started to invade these continents, then many of the native marsupials became extinct, especially in South America, where the only ones which remain are some opossum relatives and some rodent-like forms. Marsupials still thrive in Australia because of its isolation, but they aren't that successful elsewhere.
Well, those marsupials must have had quite a time in South America in the day and a bit in Australia still. But that's not quite what I was looking for. Here we have an interview with one of the first placental mammals. What is it like being a placental mammal? What's your story?
The Cenozoic era is sometimes called the Age of Mammals, not because of the monotreme mammals, not because of the marsupial mammals, but because of us, the placental mammals. It is the placental mammals which make up the vast majority of the mammals alive today. The first placental mammals evolved in the Cretaceous. At first we were rather simple. Some even still possessed the epipubic bones, the bones which support the pouch of marsupials. It may be that perhaps these bones were ultimately incorporated to become the bones which some placental mammals have in their penis and or clitoris. But these placental mammals would later diversify, but not until after the mass extinction of the Cretaceous. At first, they were still very simple, and some simple placental mammals still survive today, such as the insectivores. They possess a smooth cerebrum, kind of like a reptile. They still possess a cloaca, a common opening for the urinary, reproductive, and digestive tracts. The testes do not descend into a scrotum in males, but are retained inside the body. So insectivores are small placental mammals, which give us an idea of what earlier placental mammals might have been like. But after the extinction of the dinosaurs at the end of the Mesozoic era, the placental mammals began to diversify and truly inherited the Earth.
Well, that concludes the show for today. I tried to give you an exciting reptile to mammal transition, and it turns out it wasn't quite a big deal after all in the Triassic. And I tried to give you the exciting highlights of the first 120 million years of mammal history in the Mesozoic, and it turns out there really weren't that many exciting moments in those first 2/3 of mammalian history. So a bit of a disappointment. Luckily, a couple things happened in the age of mammals in the Cenozoic era to make up for this. The Mesozoic, kind of a dud though.